Hi, welcome to this demo of Odigos, the effortless way to unlock full observability across your AWS applications. With just a few clicks, Odigos automatically instruments your workloads and streams data into X-Ray, CloudWatch, and S3, and no code changes are required. You'll see exactly how easy it is to get instant visibility into every service, request, and dependency in your environment. Odigos turns complex observability into a simple, seamless experience that just works with your existing AWS tools. So let's dive in and discover how Odigos helps you see everything instantly. I currently have Odigos deployed into my EKS cluster where I'm running my sample application. KV Mall is an e-commerce application that we've deployed in the same EKS cluster that Odigos runs. If I want to instrument the KV Mall application, I mark all of the deployments for instrumentation, and then I can also mark all of the deployments within the KV Mall infrastructure namespace for instrumentation as well. Notably, I have MySQL, Postgres, and Kafka all running within my EKS environment. Hitting Next allows me to set up a destination. I can add AWS S3, CloudWatch, and X-Ray to view traces, metrics, and logs within the AWS portal. To set up X-Ray, all I have to do is set up my region, hit Done, and then it'll use credentials for my default credential chain. If I also want to set up CloudWatch, it's a similar process. I enter my log group name, my log stream name, and then I hit Done. I'll also set up S3. For S3, I'll plug in my bucket name, bucket region, and then I can also set up other configuration changes if I need on S3, such as the time granularity, the partition format, and then the marshaller. So now I have X-Ray, CloudWatch, and S3 set up as destinations for the telemetry that Odigos is going to capture. Hitting Next and Done kicks off the process to instrument these applications with eBPF. Odigos will first discover what programming languages I'm running on my deployments, mark those pods for instrumentation, and then load the corresponding eBPF programs to instrument these apps. Telemetry is all captured in real time and will immediately start getting exported into the destinations I have here on the right. Now that I've instrumented my applications and I'm getting metrics, logs, and traces within AWS, let's take a look at what type of visibility I can get into my apps within X-Ray. In the CloudWatch portal, I can view traces, metrics, and logs from Odigos. First, we can look at the trace map. This shows me how requests are flowing through my application. I can see how different services communicate all in real time. Any services that are unhealthy, like my front-end service, will show up red. I can drill into the front-end service now, and I can look at latency, requests, and faults for high-level red metrics. If I want to investigate this further, I can actually view traces, again, coming from Odigos, on that front-end service. If we scroll down to look at the traces, there's 176 traces coming from Odigos, and most of them have an HTTP 500 error on them. I can see that right here in the response code. Let's open up the top trace and investigate it. I have the full trace waterfall here to show me exactly how services are communicating within this transaction, and I can view the fault on the front-end service. Within the metadata, I see that there's an error. It's the 500 error, and then I can click on the exceptions tab to see the stack trace as well as the error message, which in this case is the front-end service is getting a connection refused error when trying to communicate to the coupon service. So using the traces that Odigos is emitting, I'm immediately able to understand what happened within my application, and I have the full context to understand any upstream or downstream services that may have been impacted from this exception and from this error. We can also look at logs that are coming from Odigos. In CloudWatch, I can come to my log group. And within my log group, I can look at my log stream. And I can view anything related to the front-end service, for example, within KV Mall. Here, I can see the connection refused error message within the logs. And I can also view anything happening inside the application. Like in this case, there's a transaction that occurred to buy the product with ID 15. I can also view metrics. I can search for any Kubernetes metrics within the Odigos namespace. So for example here, on my front-end service, I can see the container file system capacity and availability, as well as container memory usage. We can also take a look at metrics, logs, and traces that I'm storing within S3. In the S3 portal, I can search for the bucket that I added metrics, logs, and traces to. And then I can drill down to the minute within the bucket that I'm storing traces, metrics, and logs in. Now that I'm in the minute path, I can see all of the logs, the trace, and the metric JSON files that have been stored from Odigos' telemetry.